Wow, it's ready. I don't know what to do with my life. This is weird. The minimum viable product, or MVP as we call it, is ready. I just wrote the last install script for the display server, part of the product, and it's weird. Now the everything has gone off the Kaiban board. There's one thing left. It says start the business, and that's actually terrifying for somebody who's been working on a project so long. This is crunch time. This is where you jump in at the deep end and you kind of discover if your assumptions are correct. Because entrepreneurship and every business, no matter what it was, whether it's Amazon, whether it's IBM, whether it's Microsoft, all these guys, Google, all these guys started a business based on assumptions, question marks. Google was not the first search engine as we know. Yahoo and InfoSeek, and there was a bunch of others out there before Google started. They weren't the first. Why should anybody use them? Those guys probably had a whole bunch of questions when they started their project. It's like, why would anybody use us? Amazon, the same thing. Why would anybody buy stuff online? It makes no sense. Where you can go to a grocery store or go to a department store and pick stuff up. You know, all these founders had these huge, I would say, life altering question marks when they started their business. They didn't know. They didn't know how the world was going to respond to what they were doing. And I'm in the same boat right now. I'm like, sink or swim. It's a really weird feeling to have putting all this work for a year and you're in a situation where this is it. It goes out there. I don't know what happens. This video really comes from the heart, I guess. Been listening to things about sales and listening to things about marketing because I'm on the final. This is the end. This is the final leg. This is done. The product's done. Now I have to shift from being a software engineer to being a salesperson, and that's hard. Quite often software engineering and salespeople don't make very good bedfellows, to say the least. And now I have to transition to from engineering a product to now selling it. That's a tough jump. And a lot of these places, they have like the geeky engineer that builds a product, and they have the extrovert that sells the product. Like Wozniak was the geeky engineer, and Steve Jobs was the extrovert marketer for Apple. Well, it isn't it isn't true in this situation. This situation is just me. There's just one core founder. It's just me on my own. It really is. It really is a blank slate now. I wouldn't say it's a risk. That's the one good thing I've been very good at controlling. And the one big piece of advice I would give to anybody starting a business is to control risk. As you go through the process of starting your business, yeah, you can do a lot of risky things. You could remortgage your house. You could get a bunch of bank loans. You could get a bunch of venture capital stuff. But really, those are boneheaded, stupid decisions, really, as a founder. So you're going into debt on a hunch that something may succeed. Hmm. Right, that 90% of small businesses fail. Hey, don't don't if you're working on a hunch that it's going to succeed, and we all are. Just don't accumulate debt with that, please. Okay, some debt is. Well, I think a lot that can be avoided. You don't. You don't need to buy a new car or a new truck to run your business. Buy something old, buy something manageable. Until you see those first 10 customers in, there's, no chance of viability. And that's the reality. I'm cutting to the chase here. I'm being real. Until you get your first 10 customers in, I've been there before, done that before. Had one customer before. Guess what happened? The one customer went away. We went out of business. That is what happens when you have one customer. Even if it's a subscription model and you have people subscribing to your service, well, if you only got one customer and they stop paying the bill, and they're gone, and you're not going to get the money back. Come on. What if you start a store or something and the foot traffic isn't what you expect and you have rent due? There's so many problems starting a business. The best thing to do always is minimize risk. Completely and utterly minimize risk. Say, okay, you have a problem, you have to do something. What is the lowest risk approach to building this thing or putting this thing out there or throwing it together? Whatever you have to do. So, like, if you can't afford a store, then get like a mobile trailer or a food truck or something. Not pretty expensive. It's not as expensive as a store. It's lower risk. Rather than hire a bunch of guys offshore to write some software for you. Learn how to code the gosh darn software yourself and put the sweat hours in. Yeah, it's gonna suck. It sucked for me, coming back from work, opening up a different laptop and sitting here and coding. Then going to bed and going back to work and coding again and coming in and coding again. It is completely insane. But it's a low risk approach. Will it pay off? That's what the customers decide, really. My decisions are done at this point. That's the weird thing about getting to this point in starting a business. You know, the lion's share of your decisions are done. You may have to make some pivot decisions, say if the business isn't working out and you have to change this and that and change direction of the business. Yeah, but you don't do that right away. For the next month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. Let's say 3 months. My decisions are done. All I have to do is market this thing, produce videos like this, and you market this thing and keep moving forward. And like I say, like I said in the other video, believe in myself. Believe that what I've done is good enough. This is the ultimate test right now. Once you release your MVP, your minimum viable products, it's the ultimate test because you don't know how the customer's ever going to respond to it. I'm sure there's probably millions of products out there that were perfectly good and have flopped because they didn't have the customer appeal, didn't catch the customer. I don't know where I'll be in a year's time. That's probably the awesome part about it. It's probably the sucky part about it as well. It's like you don't know where you're gonna be in a year. So with that in mind, don't take out a bunch of loans and take out a bunch of mortgages and take a whole bunch of risk to start your business. Start your business with the minimal amount of risk possible. If it means learning new things, if it means doing new things, if it means just putting in the sweat hours, just do it that way. Because you need to launch your business really with zero risk. And then you can say it's your business. It's not the bank's business. It's not the venture capital company's business. It's not your parents' business because they loaned you a bunch of money and they want it back. No, it is your business. You call the shots, you make the decisions. And if you choose to shut it down in 6 months because it's not what you expected, You don't get a bunch of butthurt people blowing up your phone and calling you up and your parents getting mad and everything else happening because they want their money back. Well, no, it's not going to happen. This is all me. So, very low risk business, but still, it hurts and it's scary at this point. And I don't know, we'll see how things go. I think it'll honestly be probably 3 months before the first customers come in. Um, and I'd love it if I had 100 customers by Christmas, but I don't know. I'm setting my sights high and hoping I get there. And certainly if it's not there, by October, like I said in the last video, then I'll probably think about pivoting and heading in a different direction. And maybe I'll make a bunch of videos saying I'm shutting a startup down and it's not for me. I don't know. Because you're getting this diary day by day kind of thing. So you never know what the startup's going to face. I don't know. Well, hopefully you'll see another video like this and I'll be a gazillionaire in a year's time. Well, we'll see. I wish Bill Gates and Steve Jobs made videos like this back in the day. It'd be awesome. But no, you're stuck in me instead. I know.